you doing? Joe Jordan here for Z191TV.
Joe Jordan!
With the guys from Vintage Trouble here at the AfroPunk Fest 2015, and we were just kind of kicking about, you know, talking some trash, talking some good stuff, talking about, you know, these guys being on tour with AC/DC, taking a day off to, you know, drop one for AfroPunk, and you know, I want to know, this is your second AfroPunk experience. Yeah. How do you guys dig it? What's the thing that really keeps you coming back and you know, rocking one for Brooklyn?
Well, it's so funny. We had the honor of headlining the AfroPunk Festival in Lincoln Center about a month ago. And I was talking about the idea of AfroPunk, and I think from the outside, a lot of people think about Afro and Punk as being this dichotomy, these opposite ends, but I think what's really cool is that it's the similar. It's the idea that, you know, both the Afro and punk culture have always been people that have felt like, not that they're fighting against a system, but instead encouraging a system to understand that we were all the same. I mean, that's what punk was about too, and so some people tend to forget that. So, you know, we're a band together, obviously of mixed race and different things, and that we try and prove as much as possible, like this festival, that we should know that we are different, but that difference should not make a difference. And that's what's cool about being here. I was talking to a friend of mine who was in Paris just now, and I was telling her how it is the most beautiful, diverse culture right out in this park right now. You know, a lot of times when people think about alternative cultures, they think a different thing than all of this ethnicity combined with all kinds of beautiful skin tones and wild hair. You got big Afro earrings, and you got Doc Martens, and you got Kente print. It's like, the only reason people are wondering why the hell am I looking that way is because that's outside the window. So it's easier to give a description by looking. So we're stoked to be part of that.
Excellent.
It's really funny too, because we just got back from Japan 2 days ago.
I was going to ask, I want to ask.
But my body almost stopped talking because I was thinking I needed to stop so that somebody could translate. You know, it's still in your body, so it's kind of cool.
Well, no translators here, but please tell us about the Japan experience. What's it like, you know, getting to tour, you know, outside of the States for as long as you did?
You know, we're definitely blessed. I think it's a kid's dream, you know, when you're little. Japan is just one of those crown jewels that you're like, wow, you know, you hear the film, we're big in Japan, right? You know, that's always the label and stuff. And so for us, we're you know, very fortunate. Japan still represents a place where respect is almost on a level that I think unparalleled anywhere else in the world. And you know, with respect to the actual industry, they still, I think we were just talking about it, they still, 80% of their market is still physical product, despite how technologically advanced they are.
Tower Records is still there.
Yeah,
right, yeah, we were just,
you know, which is amazing in this era of what's happening to the digitization of, you know, of our art form, and you know, both the good and the bad that comes with that. And so to feel that, you know, and when you play a show there's such a respect level, whereas, you know, there's nobody out in the crowd sitting there with 8 million camera phones in your face. What they're doing is everybody is focused collectively on participating and being present in the moment. And I tell you, that collective energy is something that, again, is one of those things that's sort of unparalleled. So to be able to go there for us is a tremendous, tremendous honor. You know,
absolutely. I would say it sounds like it parallels the kind of thing that was going on here in the States, like in the 70s and 80s with music. You know,
consciousness, a collective consciousness.
Right, exactly.
Yeah, sure.
Very, very great choice of words.
It's funny, I'm looking at your t-shirt, and then you talk about AfroPunk. It's wild. We were in Berlin.
Okay.
And here's the good one. We were in Berlin, and we were in the lobby of our hotel, and a Caucasian woman came up to me, and she had on an AfroPunk t-shirt.
Oh, nice.
And she had no idea that we were playing it, and she was like listening to all. Oh no, what happened was it was an Erykah Badu album was playing. And she was grooving to it from Russia, and I was grooving to it, so it brought us together, because we're like, oh, you know this song, we must be cool. And then she was talking about AfroPunk and going off about it. She's like, oh my God, I'm gonna be in trouble. So we were like, had this whole moment, but it was cool that the AfroPunk t-shirt brought us together, you know, in Berlin.
Yeah, that's incredible. So you guys have been on the road with AC/DC?
Yeah.
Okay, I got a couple of questions about this. Alright, so firstly, holy shit, you're on the road with old AC/DC.
Oh, we can curse on this fucking thing.
Yeah, we're internet. It's sort of like satellite radio. You can say whatever you want.
Oh shit!
But yeah, so really, I'm interested both as a performer and an interviewer.
Yeah.
What are those guys like? What's it like, you know, stepping out, and also what's it like with the difference in terms of like your music versus say like the AC/DC?
Yeah, I mean they kind of let us know when we're about to go on the first tour in Europe with them. They were saying, we sometimes had problem with support acts because our AC/DC fans are pretty rough on you booed out and they throw shit at you, and so we were freaking out like, fuck, is it gonna be that bad? We went up and played, and their support has been amazing. Their fans are incredible. The feedback's been, I think we did, 1.7 million people.
Someone told us 2 million the other day.
2 million. We did
1.7.
28 shows with them.
You need to borrow one of your hats so I can take it off to you.
I know, there you go.
There we go.
Yeah.
It's the largest tour in the world right now.
Fantastic.
But we're a soul band, so
This
soul,
is true.
rhythm and blues, early rock and roll. We're bass, drums, guitar, and vocals. So are they.
Yeah.
So true.
We're raw, no nonsense, no bullshit. So are they. Our DNA and their DNA runs back into the same influences.
Yeah, Chuck Berry.
So there is a similarity there, and I think that people, they kind of pick up on that in the audience. And they're not hating on us because they can see that there's a rawness and a purity, and we're not trying to shove anything down their throats or sell them on anything. We're just doing what we do. We're staying true to what we do, and it seems to be working incredibly well, actually.
But it's cool too when we play. We get most of their fans. They have jeans, vests, and there's this Motorhead on the back. And at the end of our show, they're all dancing and partying out. It's pretty cool, man. It works.
We're not only to mention that their music and our music is built off of the earliest Americana that you can have. It's built off of the kind of music that blues artists did in the beginning, and it's just spread off into rhythm and blues and to rock and roll and this kind of thing. And when you strip down a lot of their sound, it's just good old Americana music.
Just really loud.
They're just playing it on 11.
Yeah.
Right. Well, it's funny. I don't think that the whole splitting of genres really came till later. I mean, if you think about early rock and roll, what was it really? It was the blues. It was a little bit of like
It was rhythm,
Latin vibe in there. There was
soul, jazz,
classical, and all these influences kind of melding together in a melting pot is what made rock. So I mean, really, you were rock and roll, I am rock and roll. I'm saying AC/DC, like
And if you listen to pop music, all of it is based basically on that.
Exactly.
But I mean, even so much of the early rhythm and blues and stuff too, which was so nice about early artists like your Etta Jameses and your early Rolling Stones, early Led Zeppelins, and your Little Richards and Chuck Berrys, was that on their album, as you listen to it, you could easily hear all of their different influences. It wasn't about an album of one thing that you got so bored listening to it because it just kept repeating the whole thing. On the Etta James album, you're gonna have everything from Tell Mama to Pushover to At Last. And in those 3 songs, you're already going from a blues song to a rock and roll song to a jazz song. And it's just nice to listen to because as people, I mean, we would like to believe anyway that we're not one-dimensional. And we have this new album out, One Hopeful Road. And on that record,
Camera 3.
on the record, we could have done a couple of things. We could have done actually a million things. But one of the things that we could have done was to choose, to focus on one of our influences to make the record feel a little more one-directional. But, there are 4 of us, so at least it has to be 4 directions. And then on top of that, what's really nice is that you get to feel our entire band. If our band was a person, I feel like from beginning to the end of the album, you would know this person. Not in its entirety, because there's still so much more to learn about this person, but you get a good idea of all the facets that we have.
Excellent. So tell us more about the new record. You guys are rocking with Blue Note, traditionally a jazz label.
Yeah.
Now you guys are a little, don't get me wrong, you guys got the jazz. You guys got the jazz.
No.
But we take tradition though, and we go like this.
Right, exactly. I was going to say,
I think that's what's really cool.
You know what? That in and of itself, I think, can be considered a tradition.
Sure. It might already be. We know it happened here first. It's a jazz label, but it's not even important that it's a jazz label because we were talking today, mainly it's an Americana label. In the beginning, that's what they called American music, was jazz, because it's what we created. So it's had everything. I mean, you wouldn't really consider so many artists before us to be jazz artists, but we're definitely probably the hardest hitting rock and roll aspect that's been on Blue Note. But we've had some other things. prior to that. Just to get back to Japan for a second, on this happy day out here in Brooklyn, we found out this morning that our album and our single is number 1 on radio there.
Congratulations.
And so that's a big thing to be celebrating here with everyone today.
And for the style of rock music and stuff like that, it doesn't have to all be, pop and
that's very true. Again, like you were saying, Americana kind of bringing it back around to being that rootsy thing. So it's kind of, it's everything. I mean, think about a band like the Beatles.
Yeah.
You listen to 6 different Beatles songs, you've got 6 different styles of music right there.
And they've done a lot of stuff, like they did a lot of interviewing and some of their later combination recordings and stuff with Blue Note, and they're not jazz either.
Yeah, no, it's such a classic label. It's such a beautiful thing. When we grew up, all of us were always talking about holding on to like old Blue Note records because they had a certain look to it, that just a certain style. And so we even made this album with Blue Note, and we wanted to make sure to do the classic look.
Gotcha.
The album cover, so it felt like the real deal. So check it out.
Very cool. They always help. Blue Note is also associated with 75 years. It's a label that we talked about. It never sold itself out. It never sort of really ate itself from the center. It still is really about quality first. Whatever you want to call it, it still sort of almost has a timeless aspect to it, quality, and so that's kind of that's a bar or a barometer, a measuring stick that is inspiring to us, because there are a lot of badass musicians that came before us, so it holds us to whatever it holds us to whatever kind of it's bullshit that might be out there, egos, anything like that. It holds you to. You gotta really bring it.
It's a put up or shut up kind of situation.
Which is also funny because Nolly was saying, we're trying to do this artwork to make sure it felt like Blue Note. It's kind of odd sometimes to remember that nothing needs to even feel like Blue Note because we are Blue Note. Like sometimes you almost have to remind yourself. Like sometimes I wake up in the mornings going like, because we had a record out before this called the Swing House Acoustic Sessions, and we tried to make that one feel like Blue Note. And it's just so odd sometimes when you really let it sink into your body that we are.
You can always flip the traditions. You can change things. You can
change it, but also it's just so odd. For so long, like he was saying, you just think about these dreams, and you dream about being on the road with AC/DC, and you dream about being on a tour bus, and you dream about playing before Lenny Kravitz. Sometimes you have to remind yourself. Sometimes you gotta remind yourself that it's actually all happening, and not that everything in your life is not important. When things come up, they all deserve the right amount of respect and attention for our spirits and souls. But a lot of times when these bad things come up, or little things that make you feel a little negative, you gotta remind yourself that life is so good right now. I mean, it's so good. We're representing dreams unfurled for people, and that's a huge thing to walk down the street on top of your body, and that's huge. And so it should be something for us that pulls us out of every hole to say, look how good the universe is being to you right now. It's a really nice time. We have very little to complain about. Right.
Excellent. Well, tell me, I came to see you guys, but who did you guys come to see?
You.
No, I mean, I'm seriously, okay, so we got you guys, we got Gary Clark Jr. gonna lay the thing down. Captain Kirk opened up the stage, so I mean, I was excited to kind of see all you guys today. But is there anybody specifically that you wanted to see on the festival?
Everybody you just mentioned.
Oh, fantastic!
The guy at 3 o'clock, Charles, just told us about that. I had never heard of him.
He's playing now, actually.
Is he?
No, you just finished.
Eric.
No, just playing. There was a guy that's some
Jesse
Detroit.
Boykins?
Jesse Boykins?
No, Clark.
Oh, Gary Clark Jr.? No, he's not on until later. There's you're talking about Kirk Douglas.
Yes,
Kirk Douglas, from the legendary Rich Crew. Amazing, absolutely. Like he came in and ripped some soulified rock,
beautiful.
Funky. Yeah, this was
The last song sounded like a Sam Cooke kind of song.
But it's cool. We've done some shows with both Gary Clark and Lenny Kravitz before. We actually been on tour with him for quite a while.
Oh, excellent.
Lenny Kravitz. But we're looking forward to seeing them both too.
Very cool. And what's next for Vintage Trouble?
Keep on this one hopeful road, trucking away and touring.
Touring the rest of the states with AC/DC. We do our own One Hopeful Road. Like if you guys, anyone watching this, anyone around this states of United-dom, we're going to be around. So if you go to vintagetrouble.com and find out where we are, we're doing this tour on our own. It's going to celebrate this record that has been a culmination of our last 4 years. There are a lot of troublemakers, which is our fan base, that are going to welcome all these new people. So we'd like to have a lot of virgin troublemakers in the audience. What else? Besides that tour, we'll probably go back to Europe in November.
Excellent.
We will probably go back to Japan either end of the year, top of January. And you know, as always, on every bus and every spare minute we have, we're going to be writing and recording and hopefully becoming better human beings, and you know, going to church and getting high and doing everything.
Amen. Well, if you come on out, come dressy, leave messy. That's the plan. Come dressy, leave messy.
Well, I'm sitting here with Vintage Trouble at AfroPunk 2015. They're ready to kick ass, take names, and take over the world by storm.
Oh, that's Gary. That's not Gary. Look at that hat, though. That's that is dope. It's brown. It's brown.
Yeah.
I'm gonna need at least two of those. I'm gonna need one in black.
Jesus.
one in
Yes.
brown.
Look at that hat. That's what I'm saying. A mad style.
More importantly, I'm gonna need one of those blazers. So after we get off of here, I'm gonna need you to tell me where you be shopping. That's what we doing.
Thank you.
guys. Thank you guys so much.
Thanks, brother. Thanks,
Looking forward to the set tonight.
you.
I'm Joe Jordan signing out for
Incredible.
Z191TV. VintageTrouble.com. Grab the new record. Peace.
Joe Jordan.